the highest and best use of your dollars is always going to be to pay yourself. So what is the first thing that you do with all of your extra money? Well, if you're young in these days, probably you have some debt, student loans, credit card debt, car loans, maybe you have a mortgage. The highest and best use of your dollars, and pillar number 2, is to eliminate your debt. And maybe you just focus on that high interest rate debt to begin with. And, you let your mortgage ride for a little bit because, that's okay. And then pillar number 2 is to save, or pillar number 3 is to save. And pillar number 4 is to create residual income. And residual income is the money that you're earning from your retirement contributions, your investment contributions. Maybe it's a house that's appreciating in value. Maybe it's a business that you start, a blog that you write, a YouTube. I mean, there are just so many ways to create residual income. So if you just focus in that order, maximize your cash flow, eliminate your debt, save, and create residual income, you got it.
Yeah, brilliant. That's great. That's great. And it has to be in that particular order. Yeah. Like if you have your impact fund, can you use it to build your residual income first before you pay your debts?
No.
But I guess you have to pay your debts first and then you build it up from there. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would say so because, and here's the reason, and understanding debt is really half the battle, because debt is a tool. It is a way to it's a way to jump from one lily pad to another. Like, for example, I own a home. I have a mortgage on it. That's debt.
Yeah.
So eliminating your high interest rate debt, those are the dollars, the balances are costing you the most money every single month. So by carrying balances on high interest rate debt, you're diluting the power of your dollars. So if you knock those things out first, then down the road, you're going to have way more money at one time to contribute to your savings.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you don't want to oversave because our returns right now are so low. And generally, the returns that you're going to get in a savings account are going to be lower than the returns that you'll get, for example, in your investment accounts. But the difference is that the money in your savings account, it's guaranteed, like it's safe. You're not going to lose it because it's in a savings account, which is protected. So that's a beautiful thing. And, when you have financial security, when you know that you've got some money to fall back on in case, someone you love gets sick and you need to take time off work to take care of them, or you get injured, or you lose your job, or maybe you just need a sabbatical from life. Like that emotional well-being and that sense of security can enable you to take more risks. And I think that's a really important component of it. It's like creating financial independence. It's not all about the numbers. It really is about living in a way that makes you feel great right now and in the future.
In the future. Brilliant. So I guess as you get more sophisticated and understanding money, for example, you talk about debt and having a mortgage. Is there such thing as good debt and bad debt? Because good debt is debt probably that you've taken, but you've probably invested it in assets that are actually generating your income to the extent that when you service them, you're actually making extra on top. How do you balance that sophistication in a way over time?
Yeah. Yes. I love this question. I love this conversation.
Yeah.
Yes. I like to call it performing debt and non-performing debt. So like my credit card debt, I will say that because it was credit card debt and because credit cards usually come with very high interest rates, one could say this is non-performing debt. It's not doing anything for you. It's not performing a task for you. It's just like a ball and chain that you're pulling around until it's paid off. But what I will say about my debt is the part of the reason that I had so much debt at such a young age is because I was diagnosed with a chronic illness when I was only 20 years old. And I was told that I would be handicapped for the rest of my life. And I did go through many years of not being healthy, to the point where I couldn't walk off and on for quite a while. And when I graduated from college, I moved to Boston with 3 of my best girlfriends, and I got this great job. I mean, it was an entry-level job. It was my first job after college, and I got health insurance with it, but my health insurance did not pay for my medication.
Oh.
And my medication was $5,000 a month.
Whoa. Whoa.
So after 6 months of doing that, I had a $30,000 balance on my credit card. I decided I needed to move back home with mom and dad. And that hurt. Like, I felt like I had failed as an adult, I moved to the East Coast and I started a job, but I just can't hack it. Like, this is the story that I told myself.
Yeah.
But, looking back on that, it was such a gift because I hadn't failed. I had done the very first thing that I would say anyone who's trying to create personal wealth for themselves do, which is to take care of yourself first and foremost. That is why we're here. And so I moved back home and I saved all of my money. I got well enough that I could get another job. And so even though I had a mountain of debt that was continuing to mount, it did in some way perform a task for me because it saved my life.
Yeah.
So, credit card debt is usually the first thing that is, a financial expert, I would say you want to knock that out. But I also would say if you're someone out there who has a load of debt, just let go of the shame that comes with it, because you're just doing your best and with the resources that you have right now. And, thank God I had the credit to pay for my medications.
Yeah.
So, I would say performing debt, debt that's performing a task for you, a mortgage is a great example, so long as you have a good interest rate. And if your interest rate on your mortgage is lower than the rate that your house is appreciating, in other words, going up in value, then cool. Like you borrowed money and you're making more money because you borrowed that money. So I would say that that's a great use of your money. Or even a business loan. I got a business loan in 2016, and I think my rate was 7% or something like that.
Yeah.
And, one could argue debt is bad. Debt costs you money and interest, but it enabled me to invest in my company and invest in myself. And I paid that loan off after 2 years, and I'm all the better for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And in a way, it does help you towards that fourth pillar, isn't it, of building residual income as well, if that asset is generating you that without you having to work for it. So that's brilliant. So can you talk us through a bit more on what you talked about health and that link between how health can influence your wealth as well?
Yeah. Yeah. First of all, I just want to say that it is so hard to be human.
Yeah.
And we are living in these physical bodies, and whether we get the lesson that our bodies are fragile early in life or we get that lesson later in life, at some point we are going to have to face it.
Yeah.
And I think that there's a lot of correlation between our relationship with how we're taking care of our physical body and how we're taking care of our money. I mean, both are very much a reflection. They're both self-care. How you take care of your money is how you take care of yourself. And awareness, I always say awareness, like that very first pillar of wealth, maximizing your cash flow and really looking at your impact factor every single month. How much money am I going to have coming in? How much money am I going to have going out? And then how much can I put to its highest and best use?
Yeah.
And that's all awareness, and positive impact comes from just see, like there's so much power in knowledge. And there's actually there's a Tibetan saying that says that when you shine a light on something, the problem resolves itself. Like, you don't even have to do anything. And so for me, it was it was sad. I was young. It was, all my friends were out like having fun in college and living their lives. And here I was like, having to sit down every, 100 feet or so because I was tired and couldn't walk. And I started to become aware of how I felt when I, for example, ate a certain food, or how much sleep I got, or the people I spent time with. Did I feel better after leaving their presence, or did I feel worse? And like the energy became a really big thing for me, because I needed more energy just to kind of like make it through the day. And I was able to graduate from college on time. But that required a lot of energy. So I think that learning at such a young age that I do have control over my health, and I can change my thought patterns and the things that I'm physically doing in my life so that I feel better. And I remember I think I was 21 or 22 years old, and I was so desperate for help, and I went to this person in Boulder, Colorado, who was a healer of some sort. He practiced this technique called acupressure, and he would put these like electrodes on my wrist and my head, and it was all so new and crazy to me. And he really did help me. But I do remember him saying to me, "Holly, your disease is a gift." And I remember being so mad that he would say that to me. I was like, you just can't even understand what I'm going through. And I didn't even understand what I was going through. But now looking back, and I'm totally healthy. I mean, doctors would say that I'm a living, breathing, walking miracle. And I really contribute that to being aware, to changing my behavior, to creating an environment that helps me feel better and moves me closer to my personal life vision and closer to a place where I can realize my core values. Because I was out of touch. I didn't even know that one could be in touch with their physical body. I didn't even know that we could heal ourselves without Western medicine. And so, I went on that journey, and after 17 years, I was able to completely get off all of the medication that I was taking. And today I don't take any medications at all, and I don't have any symptoms.
Yeah. Wow. So I guess that's where you have this link between our physical health and also our mental health in a way, isn't it? Because both are equally important, isn't it, in our lives, physical health as well as the mental health, because that can carry you and actually help you to actually overcome even the physical health as well, Yeah,
I mean, look at Ram Dass, for example. He had a stroke, and he was like the happiest he's ever been, and he could barely talk, and everything was slow, but he was just so joyful. And it's like, oh, I want that. How do I get there?
Yeah. Wow. But interesting what you said there about, everything that we go through in life as a challenge has got something. It sort of forms us, and there's lessons within that. And when you look back, like you say, your people saying to you that your disease was a blessing in a way. At that particular time, you couldn't see it, but now when you look back, you actually understand, what they meant and how, what the lessons that you picked from there. So that's great share to talk about. Now, talk us through financial. I guess when you talk about getting through financial independence after a rough patch, I guess part of it is what you've talked us through. But how can people get away from that pain, or their mind just focusing on the hardships and what they are going through in a rough patch in order to take themselves out there and achieve that financial independence How does that look like, for
Yeah.
people, and how can people achieve that?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm so glad you asked that, because life is long if you are lucky enough to live. And if you are listening and you're going through some sort of hardship or dark time, whether it's in a relationship or with your money or in your business or your career or what, your health, just know that you are exactly where you are supposed to be right now. And I know it doesn't feel that way. I know, because I have lived it, but these hardships really do serve to teach us a lesson and to help us appreciate the things that are really important to us. And I know that time can just go on and on and on, and that's okay. It's okay if you've struggled for a long time, because first of all, building wealth, it is a spectrum. Wherever you are right now, it can shift in a moment. And whether you're trying to climb out of a deep hole of debt like I was, or you're trying to take a 6-figure income or a 5-figure income to a 6-figure income, or even to a 7-figure income, you can do it. And it's the just getting back up again and just showing back up for yourself, and just know that there is wisdom in what you're going through right now. And the deeper the depths of despair, and I know that I sound extreme, but I mean, I've been through this, the higher you can go. And so, we weren't promised to be warm, safe, and dry our whole lives. And I mean, when I say that, I just mean being human in the world that we live in today, and society sort of projects that, we're supposed to be perfect, and, we're really strong, and I can handle everything and everything's all right. But no, that's false. Life can be challenging, and acknowledging that to yourself and just giving yourself some grace. Like I really wish if I could go back in time, those first 4 years that I was really sick when I was very young, I wish that I had been nicer to myself, because I spent a lot of time beating myself up because I should have been eating better. I should have been more healthy. And, then when I had moments of feeling good and I was able to work again and kind of live a normal life, the self-talk became, oh, you should have gone to the gym this morning. You didn't go to the gym, or you're going to have to do that tomorrow. And, you did. And so it was always me beating myself up. And now that I'm more gentle with myself, I've lived enough years, I've had enough experience to know that, like, some days are just not going to be good days. And if I can let go of the judgment that I have on myself, like, for example, yesterday, I just woke up in a crummy mood, like I don't know if it's, it's existential or, I don't know. But I just made the choice to allow myself to just be in that and just get up and do the things that I do every day. And then this morning I woke up in a great mood.
Absolutely.
So
well, that's good. And what would you say is also the importance of having the right support group or network?